Hey everybody, it's Dr. Scott. We are going to be in lectures and assignments, and we are at Module 4 this week. So we are week 4, Module 4. So I'm just going to get in here, and this mini lecture is going to be about compound sentences. So as I scroll down, you'll see that I uploaded notes. I made these specifically for this course to try to be helpful because not everyone learns by just listening to me, and definitely not everybody learns by just reading words. So I wanted to make some visuals. So what we had learned so far was about simple sentences. Simple sentences, as you have learned, are a complete thought. They are complete sentences because they contain one subject and one predicate, with a capital at the beginning and period at the end. But now we are moving on to something a little bit more difficult, which is compound sentences. So compound sentences are two simple sentences that are combined into one. And there's 3 ways to do this, but the biggest thing to remember is that a compound sentence is just like what I've made here. It equals a complete thought plus another complete thought. In other words, it is one simple sentence with a subject and predicate plus another complete sentence with a subject and predicate. If you think you have written a compound sentence, but when you look at it, the beginning of the sentence and the end of the sentence could not stand on their own, then they are not compound sentences. So you essentially are taking 2 complete sentences and joining them together. And there are 3 ways to do this. Method 1. Combine 2 simple sentences into a compound sentence using a comma, followed by a coordinating conjunction. Coordinating conjunctions include for, and, nor, but, or, yet, and so. These are often referred to as fanboys because if they spell out fanboys. So this one is the easiest. Usually whenever I would teach younger students, I would only teach this method, but we will talk about the other 2 in a second. Here is an example. If I have the simple sentence, I wanted to visit New Orleans for the food. And then I have a second sentence. My husband just wanted to see the Gulf of Mexico. Now, those are about the same trip that I actually took with my husband, so I'm going to combine those and make them a compound sentence. So what I do is I take both sentences, I put them together using a comma and then a conjunction. So I used comma but because the first part of my sentence is positive and the second part of my sentence has a more negative connotation. That's usually when you use the conjunction but to say, I wanted to do this, but, or I like this, but my husband likes this. And when you look at fanboys, there's different situations where you would use different conjunctions, but we can get into that another time. So just know that I wanted to visit New Orleans for the food, comma, but my husband just wanted to see the Gulf of Mexico. So again, I have 2 simple sentences. I combine them with a comma first, then a conjunction. You can't do the conjunction, then a comma. That ends up being a run-on. That's not correct punctuation. So it always has to be the comma first, followed by the conjunction, and your list of optional conjunctions are up here. Method 2. Combine the 2 sentences into a compound using a semicolon. So if sentence 1 is, I wanted to visit New Orleans for the food. 2 is, my husband just wanted to see the Gulf of Mexico. I could make this a compound sentence by saying, I wanted to visit New Orleans for the food, semicolon. My husband just wanted to see the Gulf of Mexico. So in this method, you're really taking out the conjunction and using a semicolon instead of a comma. Again, this is appropriate. You could do this. This would be correct. But if you just want to stick with method number 1 for now, until you really have it down and you know that you're getting it correct in your writing and in your discussion post, I would do that. So when in doubt, do method number 1. But method number 2 also works. And then there's finally method number 3. Combine 2 simple sentences into a compound sentence using a semicolon with a transitional expression. So, same 2 sentences. I wanted to visit New Orleans for the food. My husband just wanted to see the Gulf of Mexico. If I do this method, it sounds like this. I wanted to visit New Orleans for the food, semicolon. However, comma, my husband just wanted to see the Gulf of Mexico. And then down here, I have a whole table of other transitional expressions that you can play with or use depending on what seems most appropriate in the sentences that you are combining. So those are the three methods of writing compound sentences. The overarching idea being that a compound sentence is two complete simple sentences that are being put together in one of three ways, either by a comma, then a conjunction, a semicolon, or a semicolon, a transitional expression, comma, and then the second sentence. If you have any questions about this, let me know. My email is jessicascott@trcc.edu. And remember that initial discussion posts are due Wednesdays and replies to 2 classmates by Sunday.